In this video, we're going to show you how to create an accent wall using the newly released flexible Tambour panels from Osborne. For more information on these panels, visit the links in the description to learn more. To get started, we first need to take some measurements of our application area before cutting our panels. We're going to be adding these panels as an accent to a wall-mounted TV, so we're first going to figure out how far we want it to stick out past our TV, and then make some measurements around our mount and our outlets to make sure we can transfer those to our panels. Now that we're back in the studio, we can measure and cut the panels to their final height using a miter saw. These panels do have a flexible fabric backing, but can be cut using a miter saw or circular saw depending on the tools you have available. Once you've determined the final length for all of your panels, you can transfer those marks and cut them all to size. For this project, we're using part 101553 in black walnut. All of our Tambour panels come in a flexible 12-inch by 48-inch size and are available in 5 different wood types. We also have 12 different designs available on our website, so you can be sure to find the one that perfectly fits your project. Once your panels are cut to their final length, it's important to roll them inwards and stretch out the backing fabric just to allow for some proper wood expansion. This is going to separate those slats just slightly in case any kind of seasonal wood movement occurs. If the fabric on your panel is frayed from the saw blade, you can use a high grit finish sander to get rid of those before installation. Next, we can mark the cutout for our TV mounts as well as our wall outlet, ensuring that we leave a little bit of room on each side to avoid any interference during our installation. These marks will depend on the size of your mount as well as the location of your outlet on the wall, so be sure to take proper measurements before cutting your panels. Next, we can use a straight edge to create a cut line for our jig saw. This will ensure that your cut is square and help with alignment during the final installation. We'll first split the 2 center panels on the miter saw since they will be 2 separate panels once installed. Then we can use a jigsaw to create the other cutout since the panels will not be completely split in half. To do this, you can support the panel at both ends using clamps, which will allow you to freely cut the center section out. For most applications, a jigsaw will be the best tool for partial cuts like this, but use whatever tool you have that you feel the most comfortable with when working on your project. We can repeat this process for our final cutout and get ready to apply the finish of our choice before installing onto the wall. Here you can see the size of our cutout in relation to the size of our panels. Each of our Tambour panels are going to be 12 inches wide by 48 inches long, so it's important to keep that in mind when placing your order to ensure you have enough material to work with. You'll notice that the jigsaw blade also leaves some rough edges. A finish sander can be used for these areas as well to knock down those edges before finishing. We chose to do a satin polyurethane finish for this project to add some protection for our panels and bring out some of the warmth from this walnut wood. When finishing your Tambour panels, you can use a rag for the top side and use a foam brush to get down in between each slat to make sure you have proper coverage across the entire panel. Now that our panels are cut to size, we can take one final measurement and ensure that each panel is in the correct orientation as when we cut it. To secure the panel to the wall, you can use a construction adhesive such as liquid nail or Loctite. You can add a thin bead around the border of the back fabric and then apply that on the inside perimeter as well. Next, align your first panel to the marks that you created earlier and firmly press the panel into the wall to set the adhesive. Then you can use a pin nailer or a finish nailer to temporarily hold the panel in place while the adhesive sets. We prefer to use a small pin nailer as it allows you to avoid any large holes that may otherwise require wood filler to cover. When installing 2 or more panels side by side, it's important to leave a small gap in between each panel to allow for proper wood expansion. To do this, you can use the thickness of 2 playing cards or do it by hand if you feel comfortable with your application. Once all of our panels are installed, we can reinstall our TV onto the mount and take a closer look. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Builder Studio. If you're interested in learning more about our flexible Tambour panels, you can check out the links below. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time.